Thank you for joining me today. This is Sally, and this is a cobbled together video. The first part of the video is regarding how to remove pressed caning or pre-made caning from a chair, and the second one is how to remove traditional hand caning from a chair. But on the second one I also show you how to mend the frame, because this was pretty knocked about. So let's get on with it. I'm going to cut the rest of this out. A pair of scissors, a sharp knife will do. I have a steamer at the moment just heating up, which I borrowed from a friend because I don't actually have one. And with the steamer, I'm just going to go where the spline is. This is this piece keeping this rattan in position. Now, I've watched various videos because this isn't something I do very often. And some people drill holes in, but I want to keep the spline, so I have no intention of putting holes in there. I've managed to ease some of it up, so I'm just going to work on the rest. I'm going to get this under here. Here's the spline. I'm going to see if I can get the rest of this up without breaking it. It just takes a little minute. Now the other pieces came out quite well, the other two pieces. It just loosens the glue enough. If I didn't want the spline, I'd just put holes in it. Let's see if I can get this up. Nice and gentle. Pull it very, very carefully until it won't pull, and then put some more steam on it. Just ease it up as carefully as I can. Pull this out at the same time so I can clear all of this up. And my fingers are getting rather sticky because of the glue in there, but it's all coming out quite nicely. I'll scrape the rest of it in a minute, just to make sure I've got everything out that I need to. As I say, I very rarely do this kind of thing, so I don't have all the tools everybody needs for it, but I'll certainly do the best I can with what I've got. Just a little bit more steam, and I should be able to get all of this crap out of here without spoiling the wood. Once the glue is released, everything else will come out, and then I'm just going to go down and make sure I've got everything else out that I need to. And now I'll work on here, and I'll clear everything out so it looks nice and neat. Make sure that you have thoroughly steamed it so that it will come out nice and easily. Otherwise you will have to dig it out. See if I can get that up. There we go. So I'm just going to very carefully ease this out. And be careful with steam because you can't see it, and it will hurt if it gets on you. As I say, just be very careful with steam. Just easing it up. Now some people said to cut down either side to break the glue. Didn't bother, but it might be a good thing to do. I don't want to break it, so I'm just going to let it steam a little bit more out until I can get this fully out of this groove without breaking it. Something I did do before I did this was I did oil the chair, so hopefully the oil help it not get watermarks. Just take a couple of minutes to get everything out and cleaned up. This is traditional because there's holes here for the caning to come up through, and then it's caned across. As you can see here, it's all coming to pieces. So I'm going to pull this out and clean all of this up before I go ahead with the next part of the project. This is what the caning looks like underneath. It's sewn through these holes, which of course means there is a weakness here, which I'll sort out in a minute. Each one of these either goes across or diagonally to another point over there. It's quite interesting. I've actually watched them doing this in my hometown. There used to be a chap that would come in every now and again and sit in the high street and do caning the traditional way, like for this one. I'll cut most of this out if I can and across, just for now. And then I'm only dealing with a little bit of stuff. The bits that are caught around those nails, you can see where the damage is there. This side of the frame looks like it's giving as well. That is not good. Some of it I can pull through to the other side, like that. I'm using my tack remover. I'm going to break up some of these, like that, pull them out, and then from underneath I should be able to pull the loops out. I'll get the worst of it out. There's little tacks here that need to come out. Do it in the centre of a little bunch. It will come out quite easily. These pieces are quite easy to pull out once that's broken. The other thing is there's little tacks along here. They all need to come out as well, so everything's nice and clean. But this shouldn't take too long to finish up. along here, I'm just going to break this up a little bit closer so it's easier for me to pull these through. When they put them in, these are wet, so they are quite pliable, but they dry out. And as they dry out, they kind of tighten up a bit, which is why it makes them a really good material for chairs. I think it's coming out quite nicely. It looks nice and clean. This hasn't got to the point where it's pulling apart, but I will, at least I don't think so. Yeah, I can't push it with my hands to close it, so I think it's just surface damage at the moment, but we'll sort that out so it doesn't go and get worse. Let's see if I can ease this out to go up and then pull it out. I think it's kind of got wedged in there. Maybe if that comes out. There we go. Oh dear, that's not good. More bits breaking off, I think. Mainly because the nail here has gone in at a funky angle. There we go. What I need to do is straighten that out if I can. And I'm just going to tap it carefully because it's coming through on the other side. Sometimes I use this. There we go. And then knock it out. All of these nails need to come out. And the one that's knocked over, I'll just leave. It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to put this under here because I need a little bit extra leverage. Let's see if I can get it here. And all I do is I push down on one piece and I pull up on the other and it pulls it out. I just find it easier if I do it that way. And the same here. Hopefully I've got enough on here to do this. Oh, maybe not. So let's see if I can do it this way. Grab hold of that. And again, just leverage it up like that. You're not struggling so much by doing it that way. Now, something I did notice was it's got a really nice finish on there and a rough finish on here. And it's the rough finish that's on the top. Get rid of those little ones as well. Make sure everything's clear on here. I've just put a bead of glue down the centre and a little bit more on these, like this. Oops. I would want more on the ridges because that is where it's going to stick to with a bit of luck. Now the bottom side where it's smooth is the underside, so I will be putting that on in a sec. Now I had hoped to be able to put a clamp on here, but unfortunately my clamp isn't big enough. When I do that and see what's attached, and some of it isn't on here, so I'm going to just put a little bit on these, but I'm going to put as much on as I can just so that the glue sticks together. Put that back on. I'm going to try to line it up as best as I can. I have a couple of nail holes which I'm going to use. One's here. I wonder if I can get that further in, because I really want to be able to get that up right under here rather than at an angle. And I'm going to drill down. As far as I know, that's even here. I put 2 screws in to hold this. It's all dried. I've got a selection of dowels, but these are the 2 middle ones that I've got. This one's a little bit too big. That will break up too much of the frame. So I'm using this 1/4 inch dowel instead. I went through all my drill bits, and this one, if I put the dowel underneath, oops, keeps slipping. It is about the right size. So when I drill the hole, rotate the drill a little bit to pull the plug out, and it should give me exactly or very close to the size I need for this. You don't want to use a huge drill because the whole idea is the dowel is a very snug fit. You need a drill that's that is the right size. I couldn't find one that was exact, but as I say, I think with a little bit of a wriggle as I bring this out, it will be perfect for this without leaving a gaping hole around the dowel. I'm going to put some more drill holes in to put a few dowels. I can't get the drill where I want it, so I'm going to have to be very careful. Oh, and by the way, I always put some tape so I don't drill it too deep. I want to go from here into about here, so it is quite a deep hole that I need, but I don't want to just go too far. When I get to the depth I want, I just bring the plug out so it's nice and clear. I think I want to put 5 in just to make sure. Because I'm using a continuous dowel, I'm going to take that, line it up with the bottom more or less, and then mark where the end of my drill went to. So that's how deep I'm trying to get the dowel to go to. Then I'm going to put some glue over most of the lower half. I usually leave about 1/4 inch at the top without glue. A little bit on the bottom, and then line up the dowel with the hole that I drilled. It's a little bit tight, but it does go in, and then tap it until it goes more or less up to the line. It should be a little bit shy, but not too shy. Once I've knocked the dowel in as far as I can go, I take my oscillating tool and just cut it off. That gives it a nice finish there. I'm going to put 3 along here because this has started to give. The reason why I'm putting the dowels in is the grain of the dowel goes this way, so it's harder to break, and the grain of this goes up and down, or in this case that way, and the grain goes that way. So by putting it in like that, it should make it a solid fix for a number of years to come. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe, hit the bell button, and a few thumbs up would be brilliant. And in the meantime, take care. See you later. Ciao.